Hey everyone, it has been a little while since the last one of these, but I wanted to get in one more update video before the end of the year. We've been super busy with some business side things that are really exciting that hopefully I will be able to share with you in the coming weeks, but there are still some cool updates to the site to share, some exciting new directions and places that we want to focus moving forward. The first thing that you'll probably notice is that we've got nice big thumbnails now, and the player experience has been redesigned and shifted around a bit to be more content first and let the content kind of take ownership of the space instead of having kind of the big player chrome stealing focus away from the game. This is specifically designed for a mobile experience and also an embedded experience. So like if you post a Koji game or an app to Reddit, what you'll see now is this nice player that includes all of the metadata as well as remixing in the remix graph, and you'll be able to play it directly from inside the post. A couple other things that changed with this, comments and likes were taken out right now. They may make their way back in some way, shape, or form at some point in the future, but right now it felt a little bit cluttered and like a little too much was going on, especially when trying to optimize this player for embedded and mobile experiences. Diving into the editor a bit, VCCs got a bit of a UX refactor. They're much more of this menu style navigation now, which I think makes it a lot easier to reason about some of these controls and makes the actual editing experience for the control more of a first-class citizen in the platform instead of trying to like have all these little boxes or like a giant scrolling document full of text inputs and sounds and all kinds of things that could get unwieldy, especially if you were trying to deal with more complex arrays or objects that a lot of these apps and games are starting to incorporate. So you see this navigation over here, and then if you actually click one of these VCCs, you'll get the actual control. This is cool for objects, which are a lot easier to reason about in this form. This is another place where we're kind of shifting in the direction of this fast, possibly even more mobile remix experience. So like this kind of menu with this kind of navigation looks really nice on mobile devices, and having this full screen editor experience for each of the individual customization control types also allows us to do something that I've wanted to do for a while now, which is to allow custom VCCs to extend the functionality of some of the base types. So for example, we've got this image VCC here, which is our standard image picker. I can upload an image or change it. And then down at the bottom, we've now got a row showing all of the different image editors that you can use inside of Koji. So for example, this asset pack is simply another custom VCC that registers itself as conforming to the image type. So we know to display it as a potential variant on the image picker. So I can choose from one of these cats over here instead of having to use the default editor. So this is just a custom VCC. I can go over here and I can view source and actually see it. And if I remix it, I can see that this VCC is just a Koji app that defines a list of assets, and in this case, they're sample cats. This opens up a lot of really cool possibilities for extensions on these base types. The first kind of easiest example for me to put together was this asset pack. You could imagine this for emojis or for different characters or photos or icons or stickers or things like that. Feel free to remix this, and when you publish it, you go over here into the plugins section and go over here and enable this custom VCC manifest plugin, which allows you to give it a name and a description and also choose whether or not your, in this case, asset pack conforms to one of the Koji base types. So in this case, it conforms to type image. This functionality right now is also available for sound types and for 3D objects. So feel free to play around with those too. There's a ton of potential here in different places to explore. So asset packs are one thing. Different image editors are another. You might have a custom VCC that conforms to the image type that allows me to drag stickers over these things, or add a mustache or manipulate them in some other way that might not make sense as a feature for us to build into this boring base editor, but could actually be really fun and inspiring and compelling for a certain set of use cases. Other things that you might be able to do with this include dynamic asset packs, where the sources of these come from an API. So like some of the big GIF providers like Jiffy or JiffyCat, who have APIs that let you search and surface relevant GIFs or stickers. You could build a custom VCC that conforms to the image type that lets a user select from one of those. lots of cool stuff with that. And then obviously taking it to sounds and 3D objects gets even crazier because, you know, you can get all sorts of sound libraries, but also like beat makers or samplers or instruments. That gets crazy cool. 3D objects starts to get really cool with posing and animation and things like that. Yeah, so this is a really exciting area for me and for us moving forward, and kind of building out this custom VCC ecosystem to allow for some of these more compelling assets and also to make the remix experience more fun and novel and interesting to end users. There's a lot of stuff to explore there, especially from the community side, so we're going to keep playing with that. And feel free, actually, I would encourage you to remix this sample asset pack VCC and start to play around with different ideas for extending the functionality of the visual interfaces inside of Koji. This is kind of the other vector for extensibility that we're pursuing with this platform. Obviously, the templates themselves are extensible and they're kind of going in this direction, but at the same time, on kind of a parallel track, the editor itself and the capabilities of the editor itself when it comes to remixing are also being extended by this community, which is really cool. And the interplay between those two starts to get really interesting as you start to think about it in terms of evolving over time. Yeah, so that's about it in terms of feature updates. I hope everyone has happy holidays and lots of cool stuff to come in the new year. Probably pretty shortly, maybe late January, I'd like to release a framework for in-app purchases using the Koji wallet, specifically to start out with for unlocking branded or premium content inside of these VCCs. So you could imagine if you're an awesome character designer and you make these awesome sprites or these really cool sound effects or things like that, being able to now kind of sell those as controls inside of people's apps for these micro pennies. And then that opens up this marketplace to a whole new audience of potential participants beyond just developers. So we can, you know, through this custom VCC direction, start to incorporate designers and artists and sound engineers and allow them to build on and extend and make more powerful and more compelling the work done by template developers. So it starts to get into this really cool ecosystem, community marketplace where lots of stuff is happening and really cool, compelling things are starting to come out of it. Yeah, so that's about it. I will see you all in the new year.